Alright guys, Puppy's World here. We are getting into the Jeeper, and so, back at it. Take a second try, second look. Looks a little different now, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks a little different. Stuff's drying up real quick, but I've got this thing completely treated, as you can kind of compare from about an hour ago. You can see any difference, and you can definitely smell it over here. There's a huge difference in the smell in this engine compartment, and entire firewall treated. Now, once we do this video, we will try to start the vehicle up, as we have not had it started in maybe 2 days here. So it has been sitting for about 2 months prior to that with no moving. And this will be the first attempt at starting it up using cleaning those, obviously with terminal brushes and, well, just sandpaper and bristle brushes, but you're unable to get those off, so these terminals are completely onto this battery for good. Now you've got a ground cable. Normally I would just ground things to the chassis, and what is that going in, guys? Why is there, well, that was a Frankenstein ground cable right there. I wouldn't even do that now. What the heck is this? It's obviously some sort of a bleeder system, if you can see all the way up and then to the right. This is some sort of bleeding valve that I just put a nut in. I'm sorry, a bolt in, because, well, if anything ever came out of here, I wouldn't want it spraying all over my engine, so I don't know whatever would, but you can see that's pretty ratted up there, so we're going to be replacing that. So I wouldn't be surprised if this guy didn't start right now. Of course, it's got its battery, tray there. Yep, that's working, so this battery's not going to bounce all over the place, but we had to do that, guys. So if you see that going on, you see a bunch of corrosion or rust going on, at least on your power terminal, get that going clean. So had to take that off, guys, and don't ever touch these two together, or your body will be acting, your heart will be acting as the fuse in between it. And trust me, your heart does not have a 1 to 10 amp fuse shut off on it, so it'll just take all the current it can, and bam. So obviously, greasing up there, greasing up there, greasing up there. I did grease up that, greasing up there. Z-bar obviously rust proof, not working too well, huh? Some of the spots different, of course, but yeah, treated this thing. We got the master cylinder and a lot of white stuff, accumulated there. So instead of taking the whole boot off, cleaning the air filter, we did spraying throttle body cleaner right down in there. And then, of course, you want to give it a little pump, pump it a little. So I pumped my throttle body a little bit with some throttle body cleaner in there. Of course, fuel injected. You gotta know your throttle body. That's giving me worries right there, since it's so rusted. I'm gonna assume air conditioning line or water line. Yeah, we'll figure it out, but okay. Alright, ignition and fuel rail. Injectors. Now, bam, 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 bam. So, I think we should have a pretty good system going on now. And look at, again, more stuff that I have Frankensteined. Guys, that shouldn't even be like that, but I had to do something. And that, too, for power steering, had to do something. So, and that is the time to close feature on the garage, as you can see. So we're going to let that close, and then, well, maybe not. We'll pop in it. And as you can see here, it does flash when you've walked by it. So I have put in the .4, not the .3. I've done some B12 carburetor choke and throttle body cleaner instead of my old stuff, and then that has not gone in yet into the transfer case, which it will be needing to. So you'll be wanting to test that stuff out if you get a dry shift, if you can hear your synchros. But back to the story before about a starter, solenoids. If you got a starter that you don't believe is cranking the motor anymore, it's your solenoids, guys. And one little trick of a Jeep owner, you know, ex-Baja rider that you used to, you know, try and figure out if you had to on the go is tap the starter with a hammer to get the solenoids loosened up. If you tap the starter with a hammer, it'll loosen up those solenoids just a little bit, and you'll be able to crawl in and start that vehicle. So I think we're going to go ahead and give it a test start now. If you want to go have a look at my Acura, regarding, dirty floor, but regarding the OBD2s, that is what you're going to be using for an OBD2. Now I've just got it sitting here, and I don't have the right keys for this guy, so I can't start him up now, but he can do a full OBD2 scan right out of this. So you pull this out. That's not an ashtray. You pull it out, and your OBD2 scanning, your onboard diagnostics is right here on my Acura. So it's pretty easy to figure it out. Now I've got an 01 Acura with about 70,000 miles on it. CL Type S as my daily driver. But yeah, guys, this thing has been, you know, in Florida. It has been miraculous. The one spot on it right now, it's not being driven because it needs treatment there and sealant and clear. So we're gonna have a test start though. Now, can't imagine if this is going to start up, guys, but I want to try. And what I want to do is notice if anything is screwed up. So we want to have this basically clutch in. Make sure you're out of gear when you start a manual like this. Come on, and I'll treat that boot again so you're not dropping down stuff right into the transmission. That should always be there, guys. You're gonna have to take some glue and get this down. But so clutch should be in. Put yourself in neutral. Make sure you're in neutral. Pop clutch out. I mean, you can press the clutch to see if you've got bounce back in that pedal. You're not gonna get much of it now. Make sure it's in neutral. Here's the test. You think it'll start, guys? There we go. Hear that start? It was a clean start. Clean start. That oil pressure's up there. Our water temp's low. We got a 180 thermostat in there. Should open up at, you know, 180, but if it's not, got an issue. 210 should be boiling point of water, shouldn't reach over 210. Got a little bit of a quarter tank and a little less of a quarter tank, but 185,000 miles on this thing, guys. It is idling with a good 1,000 RPM, 1,000 revolutions per minute. And that tach is sitting there, see? I've got this camera or phone as still as I can get it. That oil pressure is pretty high right now. So that's indicating this might be a half a quart low or something. Might need a little bit of thicker oil in there. But in regards to our alternator output, let me give it a little throttle here. Yep. So let's have a peek at this thing now. We got it working. There's our action that we're looking for. Smooth action there. Smooth action and no slip and no squeal. We're getting a little bit of squeal right now. At least we've got start. So we're going to go ahead and check the oil to make sure our oil pressure is good. Our alternator output looks good. We're charging the battery. We're just making it squeal at this point. So we're going to go back through it, and once we've got, make sure you've got the brake fluid in there. We want to go ahead and pump our stuff, but yeah, guys, we've got it working. And if you want to know anything else on how to do one of these things, let me know. Thanks.